amazing, Orion.
Thanks.
Yes. Claire's in the chat too, to be fair.
What?
Yes, I can see it in the window. Yes.
Yes.
And actually,
Let's
in fact,
see.
there's a chance we're live. Sorry, I didn't.
Are we live?
I
No,
don't
it
know.
hasn't shown up yet. No. It
Okay.
hasn't changed yet.
No.
No, it is. It has to be live. It is. It's definitely live because it says end stream.
No, it says
Yeah, so
waiting
it's-
for Orion Kelly.
Well, I'm sure it's live. Yeah, people are talking. Anyway,
Yeah, they're
doesn't
talking,
matter.
but I don't think that we're live.
Okay.
Nothing's showing up. Watch, let's
No,
ask.
that's right. Hang on.
Taylor's writing in the chat again.
Yeah, am I breaking the rules?
Yeah, you didn't
No,
get
you're not breaking the rules.
you didn't get the 700 pages of script.
Oh, I did, but I only got 650. I have the
it was,
first six.
It was in that last bit, so that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry
So-
I missed that.
People in the chat room, just so I'm clear, people who are watching this live stream on YouTube, can you guys see four of us and hear four
No.
of us? Yes or no? No, not answering, Tay. You're bad
No,
from answering.
I am in the chat, and somebody just said no video feed.
I'm watching it. No video
Excuse me. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. See you all. Yes, you guys are just in a really old version of it or something.
Are we? There's no video feed.
So what I would do is I would get out of the link that you've clicked on and go back to my channel and click on the new live. It's the same
Okay.
link, but for some reason it's old.
Okay. Oh, we are live.
Oh, we are live.
I don't know how you can see that we're live. I honestly can't see that we're live. I can't see anywhere.
can't
It
tell you
says
there.
live recording at the front. Thanks everyone for your understanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
this is
glad.
the worst.
I'm glad to see everybody. Hi.
Hi everybody.
I only can see it, Orion, because I did what you told me to do. I went out.
Oh,
And,
I can see it now.
How? How can you see it and I can't see
I
it?
went out to the YouTube to your channel and I clicked the live. There's a live link at the top of your page. See, this is real life YouTubers here. We're like, I was running around. I literally sat down like 18 seconds before we went live.
I can
I
see
don't
us
have
now.
my lighting
Oh, I can
set
see
up.
us now too. It freaked me out, man. There's a picture of me at the beach or something. What the hell? Anyway,
Yeah, I
Where'd
know.
that come from?
That's
All
why
right,
I was
let's-
like,
let's-
what
let's
is
just-
this?
let's straighten up and fly right here. Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
I apologize. What's it been? It's
I'm gonna be
been
serious now.
2 minutes and 47 seconds. I'll cut that out in post. Don't worry, you won't see it. It starts here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this amazing YouTube live stream, and I'm joined by some
What's up?
special guests, and I can't wait to chat today. So I've got two special guests and Jen. So let me introduce them. For starters, Mum on the
Coming out
spectrum,
swinging.
Taylor. Hello, Taylor. Welcome.
Hello, Orion. Thank you.
Woodshed Theory.
Glad to be here.
It's the one and only Claire from the Woodshed Theory. Claire.
Hello
How are you, my friend?
everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me and us.
Massive delay between. Don't watch us, because just focus on us in Riverside. And Neurodivergent is here. Yes. Hello, Jen.
I like your fidget behind you, Jen. That somebody else showed me one of those earlier this week. I've never seen those before. Super cool.
This is how I stay regulated while I'm talking, and I have used this in every single live stream or interview that I have done. So
It's
good
very
stuff.
stimmy to even look at.
Mhm.
This is how we do it.
I honestly can't watch it anymore. I got to turn the YouTube one off. I can't watch it. It's distracting. It's like
much.
7 hours behind. Well, hey, I can't believe this worked. I'm so stoked it worked, and I'm so glad we're here, everyone. And you know, the great thing about it is we've got people joining us from all our channels on this massive live stream. The
I'm so
chat room.
excited.
It's ridiculous. The chat room is a little overwhelming. There's lots of comments and stuff. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for Whitney and Spicy Autistic for helping us moderate.
Thank you,
the chat
moderators.
today.
Thank you, moderators.
We
It means a
appreciate
lot.
you.
It means a lot, and it's great to have everyone watching. Now, this is a live stream that's never been done before for us, so a four-way channel live stream. So if you haven't
happen-
checked out everyone on the screen,
You saw it here
please
first.
do. please do. So check out everyone's channels. And Jen, neurodivergent, I know you're on a flip phone from the 80s, so is there anything you wanted to say before you dropped out?
Enjoy my 8-bit presentation.
Do you have a tape deck over there?
Yes, who doesn't? I'm gonna make my mixtape out of this.
I miss my
all my
cassette
favorite
tapes.
songs.
I used to have a Spice Girl cassette tape and an NSYNC cassette tape. It's like so dumb that I got rid of them. Like that is so dumb that I don't have them anymore.
You remember video recording your voicemail message to the radio, and like you would like stop it so that people could like leave you a voice message, or like whenever you were trying to make mixtapes back in my day, we actually had to record it off of the radio, and the DJs
Live,
were
yeah.
always talking over it. Yeah, like DJs like Orion were always messing it up, you know?
I don't think I know that. Did you have a music show, Orion?
Yeah, so I was definitely
Like
the person
I didn't
that
know
would-
if it was just talk show or if it was something else.
No, I was
Was it
definitely the
music?
person that would talk. That would talk over your songs when you were recording. I'd come in at the
Okay.
end and go, "Hey, yeah, TLC, Waterfalls." So that's not how I talked, by the way. But yeah, my primary, in fact, you know what, Claire, my only career was in radio. I haven't worked in an office. My only career was in radio from when I was like 17. And yeah,
I
I
was
on
referring
music
to your
radio.
new career as content creator.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the stuff you didn't know about. But yeah. I was in radio as a job, so on music.
How long did you do that, Orion?
Probably about a decade, and then I started to get I don't know, HR blocked, and I guess my undiagnosed autistic self started to be labelled as not a team player or can't play well with others or just not very good, and then I started to that was about that. I never really recovered, unfortunately. But I was never unsuccessful, and I really loved it. But yeah, I guess it was tricky trying to navigate undiagnosed and my reactions if things didn't go right or were they obviously were disproportionate, and I didn't know why. So obviously I was just a bad employee. But yeah, I mean, I worked in music radio and some of the biggest radio stations in Australia. I worked in Sydney and Perth and Melbourne, and working on music radio stations in Australia is probably when I was doing it was probably a pretty awesome job. Not so much these days anymore. Like, I mean, there's who listens to the radio anymore? I don't know. But yeah, so it was like my life pretty much, and it pretty much got taken away from me because I was too autistic without knowing I was. But
I think it's so interesting to hear you talk about your career in radio, because that's something that like nobody could ever think that an autistic person could do, you know? And you've talked about it before that was one of your special interests. Like you literally kind of reverse engineered a radio transmitter, if I'm not mistaken, when you were very, very young. And you talk about how you were able to kind of like sit in a box and not really interact with other people, and you had control over who you talked to, who you didn't talk to, etc. So just another great presentation of like, things that could make people not understand what careers you could do as an autistic person, you know?
Yeah. When I was about 13 or 14, I made an FM wireless bug. I soldered it myself. It's like a little microphone and a little solder, and basically you get your friends in the neighborhood to tune into a frequency on the FM thing, and they'd hear me talking, and I'd play songs and talk. But yeah, so radio, I think, is a classic job for someone like me. I sit in a box by myself for 6 hours. I play music and talk to people that I can't see or hear. And I only have to take the calls when I'm told there's a competition now, you better take the calls. And I can hang up on them and I can edit them. I can actually have a conversation with a listener and then I edit it before I put it to air. So it's in fact, when you think about it and look back, you can go, well, that's how I can slip through the keep up, because everything I do can be made in a in perfect environment. So it is really interesting. But
Okay, let me chime in real quick. There's people saying that a lot of people cannot see us still, and so some people are on the old link. So I guess they can't hear me either, but I'm typing in the chat, like, if you can't hear us or see us, go back out, they probably can't hear me, to Orion's homepage, like his YouTube homepage, and click on the new live link. They said the one that
Yeah.
you scheduled is like not working.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. It's the exact same link that I'm in, but that's bizarre. Sorry about that, guys.
Weird.
I don't know why that is the case. I can
Hopefully
definitely
everyone
try.
will find us.
Yeah.
They'll find us. I'll just post it in again.
Taylor, you're a really fast typer.
I love to type. It's very stemmy for me. Like ever since we had goodness, what was it called in middle school? Keywords maybe. We had a program and that was like my life. Like how many words per minute can I type? And I love to type. I love it.
I love that about you.
Okay,
I
the
just learned a
original
new
link
thing.
worked for some people.
That's what I understand. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it's weird. Technology's so weird.
I'm going to do my best to try and play around with it, but I don't think I can do much.
I mean, clearly some people are able to see us. So I think if people, I typed it in the chat too. So hopefully people will go out and click the new link. And I mean,
I'm seeing us right here, so
it's happening somewhere.
it's happening
It's happening
somewhere, you
somewhere.
guys.
And I'm recognizing
Somewhere.
so many familiar names in the chat. So thanks everybody for coming. So nice
Yeah,
to
it's
see
fun to see
everybody.
everybody here. Jenna, I can't remember. I was just thinking that about how many words can I type a minute. It's over 100, but I can't remember. I checked it like a year ago and I can't remember what it was at, but I love to type. I can type a
Wow,
lot.
that's really a lot. That's a lot of words a minute.
What other random talents do we have? Crickets.
Sorry, guys.
I can turn my feet backwards.
I'm literally just trying to give people the link on the YouTube, but I'm
You do
getting-
what you need to do, Orion. I will. I'll do a song. I'll tap dance and keep everybody
I'm actually
entertained.
getting I'm getting fixated on the issue when it probably isn't an issue really.
Yeah, I think most people have figured it out now. I think probably just one of the links that was originally posted is different now. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm sorry about that, guys.
Hope it wasn't mine. Probably was mine. You know I like to post the wrong links to things. I was thinking
Who
before I got on
knows?
here, what if this is like, so this is like our crossover episode, right? But what if it was like a musical crossover episode and I didn't even know
Okay,
about it
I'm
until I
listening.
got there?
I'm listening.
So what if we signed
I'll get on the
everyone-
piano.
Everyone
I'll
started
send
singing.
Orion the djembe. Jen, I'll send you my piccolo. I'll take the flute too.
I'm only practiced in the recorder, so
It's fine.
I can play
It's
a
fine.
mean hot cross buns or three blind mice. So
What
but
about-
I can still participate.
Don't you know a few notes on the violin?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
I pretend that I do. I pretend.
It's
That's
okay to
all,
pretend. It's okay to pretend.
That's how I get through life. I pretend.
We've
I
got
used to
some
play the
other
recorder.
suggestion-
Okay, what's your suggestion, Claire?
Oh, I'm saying we've got some other suggestions in the chat. We also, other than the musical episode, we have the beach episode.
Okay.
Because
I-
Orion's picture
Because of
showed
the
up on the beach.
crossover.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
I'm
but
trying to fix it.
You know how the
Well-
crossover episodes are always like something a little different.
Yeah, you're right. And today at school, I helped decorate for the end of the year party, and it's beach themed, so I could bring some beach balls home. Beach balls and flip flops and umbrellas.
For
we
the
do a
live
beach thing.
stream tomorrow? Or
You know, for the next crossover episode.
I
think I'm
I
almost
do
there.
think that this is very brave of all of us, and please know that we're all kind of trying not to like talk over each other because we've all watched a few like Pierce Morgan interviews where everybody's like screaming and talking over each other. So I think that we are doing a great job so far of like not doing that.
I feel like when I do the I'll just plug my podcast, but we talk me and my guests talk over each other all the time. It's just part of being
It's just part of it.
part of it. It's not
I
on
feel like
purpose.
I think we're doing a great
making
job.
progress here. I feel like I've changed the title so it's more specific, and I've changed the thumb. So I feel like when people refresh it or look at it,
So it's
now,
not
it
you
will-
on the beach. That was so random.
I didn't do that. I don't know how that happened. It's not me on the beach. But I think that won't appear to people who are already in the stream. But that's okay because they're already here. All right. At some
Maybe
point,
it got
I've
us
just gotta-
more viewers.
I've just got to stop trying to worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine. People can see us.
Someone just told me there's 18 people still waiting at the other one, so that's bad.
Wait, okay. Let me share the link here. Sorry, guys, we'll figure this out. I will share the link here in the original one, right? I don't know how.
No, don't. I'm going to delete the original one if I can.
Okay,
That's my goal.
I'm going to leave it alone.
That would be my goal, but I don't know if that's possible. Either way, though,
We're figuring it out.
This is just bloody phenomenal. Okay, I think I get it now.
Yeah, we had a group chat before we started, and Orion was like, by the way, I'm like 20% sure this is all going to work perfectly.
Okay, I'm deleting it forever.
But thank you to Orion for hosting and scheduling and setting. So it's Wednesday morning for Orion, and it's Tuesday evening for the three ladies. And we're all representing different time zones, which is interesting.
So we got it together.
Us
We
three
figured it
ladies
out.
are in the US, and I got to admit, somebody mentioned in one of the comments on one of the social medias that it was like Charlie's Angels, Orion and Charlie's Angels.
Oh my god.
Close enough.
Another crossover. Let's just keep adding episodes to the crossover
okay.
list.
So you know what? I've deleted the original one, although the one that's live now is happening right now. So hopefully that
Perfect.
helps everyone, guys. There shouldn't be an old one now, which means that it'll still be
Okay,
in our
they said
all our
yes.
community chats. So all our community
said you
chats
did
will still
it.
be wrong.
They
Okay.
said you did it.
I'm sorry, guys. If you all just want to share it again with other people, if you can, but it is what it is.
Okay.
I work
I will
for
never
no one
survive.
but myself, so I didn't sign a contract for that angel stuff.
You can't use that kind of stuff, Jen, around Claire. She gets very narky when you start to go down that alley. Okay, so you just got to be careful. Watch out.
What? Okay, come on.
No, seriously. So okay, where are we here? Now,
Let's talk autism stuff.
Okay, let's do it. What's up?
Hey everybody, welcome.
they're finally getting here.
Thank you everybody for your patience, because I'm sitting here and I'm watching this and it's like, oh man, this is so scintillating. But really, you guys, this has not been attempted, at least by any of us before. So we definitely appreciate all of you guys like sticking around and being patient while we try to work through the bugs, because this, it's again, thanks Orion. Appreciate it, but it has been, it's been you guys are just like our guinea pigs, I guess, right now.
We're
but we made it
pioneers.
work. We're pioneers. So
Well, I have to
we
say-
appreciate you guys' patience. Yeah.
It was my idea. I was like, wouldn't this be fun, guys? Let's all do this. I'll host. And then I was like, I'm completely positive we can all do it through our phones on YouTube Live. And then Jen was like, let me check real quick, and just did like one click. It was like, no. And so then Orion came to the rescue and helped us through a different app because he's super smart with all of that. So we are here.
Yeah. Yes,
We're
and
here.
I didn't want to make you uncomfortable and shout you out, but I did want to mention that this was all your idea, Taylor. So
I wasn't
we
sharing it for
appreciate
the
you coming
attention.
up with this.
I was sharing it as in like I had an idea and did not see it through, which is not like
Yeah.
me. But it's also partly because I really, am so grateful for each of you, and I feel like we can just kind of throw ideas around and see what sticks. So I feel like we can try new stuff.
Yep.
But I had a question come in, and it's kind of like in tune with something I wanted to ask y'all as well. So question about when you are at your happiest. But my question to go along with that is like, when is one time when you've felt, because I know we deal with masking a lot, like when is one time you can look back and think like, that was, I felt really a lot like myself in that moment. Is that a big question?
Ooh.
No, that's a great question. It's just a matter of who goes first.
I have to think about that. Jen, you can go
Yeah.
first if you have an answer.
Okay, I'll go first because I always try to go with my gut instinct, and my gut instinct is normally when I feel at peace and when I feel content, and just to make Orion a little bit uncomfortable here, but as females, we all deal with like our we all deal with cycles of life as human beings. But as females, we deal with like cycles of the month and weather and like how everything is, kind of going for us. But there are a lot of moments where I feel really, really peaceful and content. And when I feel those moments the most is probably when I am gardening or trying to do like home study stuff, like dehydrating fruits or vegetables for some healthy snacks, or working in my garden, or harvesting from my garden, which is, here and there in Colorado, we don't have longer seasons for like harvesting stuff. So it's a lot of like homesteading stuff and, like cooking and stuff like that. So that's when I have legitimately, like, if I were just like, it's my first thought that comes to my mind is when I'm like homesteading and gardening and doing stuff like that, depending on the weather outside also, and if the moon is in retrograde.
Yeah, I like to garden too. I just planted some watermelon this year. I've never grown them before, so we'll see what happens here in Texas with the heat. But definitely hear you on gardening. Claire, did you come
Yeah.
up with an answer to put you on the spot? We can come. Nobody has to answer this question. If you
Buffering, loading.
don't. Okay.
Well, I think it's difficult because I, like many late diagnosed people, well, I always think it's kind of funny because like I didn't know that I struggled with depression. So I didn't know that that was an issue for me. I just thought that, of course I'm happy. Of course I am. Yeah. So as far as like when do I feel like most myself, most happy, I think it's just been over this past few years of finding out who I am authentically and putting that into practice. So I think that it's like a developing thing for me. Like I continuously feel more myself and more happy.
That makes me happy.
More
I had
content.
kind of a similar realization this past week. I was helping my best friend with something, and I ended up writing this letter. And when I was reflecting, I realized that without knowing that I was autistic and having the right words for my experiences, I just from a young age had internalized this idea that living with a very large amount of stress and anxiety is normal. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of what you're saying, like realizing I think I'm happy, but like there's some depression there. And like I've just realized, not knowing I was autistic, I just internalized that life is always supposed to be very stressful and anxiety inducing all the time. And so like you said, I feel like I'm slowly peeling those layers back of like, oh, it doesn't always have to be this way.
Orion.
Yep. Okay. I'm with you. I've just been trying to do stuff in the background to clean up my mess, which I'll never fully recover from emotionally. I apologize. Yeah. So the answer to the
I
question
am never going to fully financially recover from this. Sorry.
Me neither.
Now you've interrupted, and you know he hates being interrupted. Let him speak.
Sorry. I had to say the Tiger King thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. My answer to this question is a law of physics called constructive interference. That's my answer to. Was a question about happiness or something
Yes.
like that? Yeah.
And
yeah,
your answer is constructive interference.
So, does anyone know about the law of physics? The physics law, constructive interference. Does anyone know about that? That's what makes me happy.
Are you asking us, or are you asking the live chat?
Everyone, you guys. Do you guys know?
I'm
yeah,
gonna let
no.
Claire explain it.
Oh, well, obviously, it's so easy. Are you ready? First, I mean, what did you call it? Because I think I call it something different.
I think you take this brightly colored paper, like there's pink, orange, yellow,
Constructive
like
interference. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, okay. That's when that constructive interference is when you're interfered in the middle of saying something, but it's
Building
something constructive, like
road work.
Definitely
stop
not.
talking.
Definitely not.
Okay,
Please.
Can I
to
just go
enlighten
on
us.
then?
Yeah,
Yeah, please. Sorry. That's Taylor's fault. Sorry, everybody.
It is. I'll own it.
And this is
Go
where
ahead.
people can just take a spell and just let me spit this out and move on with my life. Okay, this is actually true, by the way. This is actually the key to happiness. It's physically proven. Okay, so constructive interference is basically where two wavelengths of the same length. Okay, so if we're on a wavelength here, yeah, we're on the same wavelength, right? But it's when you say, oh, me and that person are on the same wavelength, it means your wavelength is of the same length. So two wavelengths of the same length that meet create double the frequency. Okay, frequency is energy. It's expelled from the body. Okay, having this conversation can either give us energy or take our energy away. I feel we're on the same wavelength. We have 4 wavelengths meeting of the same length. That is 4 times the energy that we are creating, or the frequency we are creating. That's happiness. Okay, and they've actually physically proven this with regards to physics testing. They looked at love and hate and happiness and joy. What do you think creates the most frequency? Because it's all about, Einstein said life is all about frequency. Well, if you could guess, what would you say creates the most frequency, the most expelled energy to other people? Love, hate, joy.
Wait, maybe
Love.
this is something related, but
Food-
I heard
food?
something. Authenticity, isn't that like a really high frequency?
Taylor's got it in one. Authenticity. So the frequency of authenticity. Orion, what's that mean? Scientifically, it means being honest and actually believing it. So it's someone who tells the truth or is honest, but actually believes what they're saying. Yeah, that's authenticity. Now, that creates 4,000 times more frequency than love. 4,000 times. So being with someone who's authentic creates 4,000 times more energy than love. That's scientifically proven. That's an Einstein thing.
Wow.
So you want to talk about happiness, when a wavelength, the same length as my wavelength, connects with me, I feel happy. I get energy. That's why Claire might experience this. I experience this. Some podcasts I record suck me dry. Other podcasts I want to go forever. Right? That's a classic example of wavelengths meeting in frequency. So that's what makes me happy. And I'm sorry to bore you, and you can just talk, and I'll just go quiet for another 10 minutes.
No, it's super interesting, Orion. I really love that. But it's kind of related. Like, one thing that I love so much about the autistic community is I feel like we have a very finely tuned BS radar. Like, we can smell BS from a mile away, and we are all about authenticity. Like, I feel like I've encountered I've had more authentic experiences within the autistic community than I've had anywhere else. I don't know if y'all feel the same.
Someone just said it's a load of pseudoscience to me. Let me address that. So it's not pseudoscience because it's physics, and there was a scientific research with over 25,000 people where they actually measured based on all the different feelings they're feeling in their body's experiencing. So I get what you're saying, but it's just pure physics. It's how the universe works. If you want to have, it's all about the energy. Anyway,
It's all about the vibes.
it's not. Yeah, it's not vibes. It's vibes. It's vibes. Fair enough.
Well, I mean, there have been some studies that have shown that like cells that have been detached from a person's body can respond to like pain or anger or happiness. I don't know how they measure it. That also feels like pseudoscience. I'd like to look into it, but I'm just saying that might be along the same wavelengths. But I will say, I know this wasn't Taylor's specific question, because she kind of talked about like, when do you remember feeling happy, or what activities, have made you feel happy? So that's why I answered my first inclination. But I also want to kind of interject that happiness can't be cultivated from outside sources. And this is something that I talk about a lot. And so I think a lot of us think that, well, if I had the perfect job, or if I had the perfect, house, or if I had the perfect this or that, whatever the outside external source is, that I would be happy. And what we have to remember, and I think what a lot of us quickly find out, especially as autistic people struggling with the world around us, is that no matter where we go, we are still ourselves. Doesn't matter what job we go to, doesn't matter what house we live in. Yes, outside things can impact your happiness. They can, drain you or stress you out, but they can't they can have negative impacts, but they can have positive impacts. Like the positive impact has to kind of come. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into like some kind of like Machiavellian, like, psychology session, but I think that that was a great first question to start us out with. And I know that a lot of us ask for questions from our community, and I got a lot. So, Claire, did you get any?
Sorry, just quickly to answer the question, guys. If you want, people in the chat wanted to look it up. It's Spain, but not the country. SPANE, Spain study. I'm done.
Okay.
Go. Am I missing a joke? Every time I look at the camera, I see people like laughing behind their hands, and I'm looking into a different planet. I feel like I'm the odd one out today.
No, are you looking at the feed that's like a few seconds behind?
I'm not going to keep looking at it.
Okay. No, you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're here with us. You're good. We're all where we should be.
Sorry. Any other? What was the next question, Claire? Or what were we talking about next?
Jen pointed to me. Well, I could say, yeah, I could see how people who are on the same wavelength could give you more energy. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to look into that. Luckily, usually the podcast really invigorates me. I feel like being able to talk to other autistic people has been really healing and energizing and nice. So that's pretty cool. As far as did I receive any questions? I didn't receive that many questions. I think I received one that I remember, and that was, please forgive me, I don't know who sent it, but it was about masking, and do we feel like we mask? I think the question was if we felt like we mask more or less now that we have our diagnosis. I think that was the question. And my answer would be, I think less. That would be my answer. I think I mask less now with my diagnosis. Now that I'm more aware of it, I feel like when if I feel like I have to, but I don't think there's very many instances where I feel like I have to. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I mask less now.
Taylor, when does the lawyer need it by? When's he in court? How fast are we typing here? When's
Can you hear it through
the judge hand down the ruling? Holy shit, Taylor.
I don't know why.
You're killing
Sorry.
me with the typing.
Okay, I did not know you could hear it. I am sorry.
I'm getting flashbacks to uni here, trying to study in the library, and all you hear is
no more typing. Noted. Noted.
I'm studying here.
I'm sorry.
What's this?
Okay, you know though, Orion knows. I just got.
It's a library. Sorry, I apologize.
I just got a new mic. You know this, and I'm getting used to how sensitive it is, and it's picking up on everything. So it's good feedback. Thank you, Orion, for the feedback that my microphone is picking up.
So
It's
positive feedback.
It's bloody sexy.
Is it crispy and clear?
Well done.
That's I wanted your yeah. That's why I was doing
I
it.
feel like I'm in the room with the keyboard. That's how clear.
Oh,
it is.
okay. Noted. Okay.
Keyboard.
Sorry, everybody, for the keyboard sounds.
I feel like I'm in the room. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, I'm putting it up. Bye. The keyboard is going
feel like
away
I'm in the room.
to
Oh
another
shit! I'll be laughing at
area.
that tomorrow. Oh shit! Oh, I mean seriously.
Oh, okay. So I think my answer it would be a little interesting in that when I first got my diagnosis, which was like 4 years ago now, I think maybe I masked a little bit more because I was like, how am I supposed to be autistic? You know, it was like, now that I know that I'm autistic, like what is an autistic person like? And so I feel like there was this period of time where I was like, and I think there are for a lot of us, where it's like, who am I actually? Who am I really? Like now that I am coming to know myself in this lens, through this lens. But now, yeah, I feel like I do kind of, I'm a delayed processor. So sometimes at a social event, particularly group events, I'll have this delayed reaction to where I'll process something and be like, oh, that response like didn't really feel like me. I think I was kind of masking through that. But it's usually just kind of at group events that I don't have a lot of control over because I feel like I've kind of restructured my life to just interact with people that I feel comfortable with for the most part. And I can't always avoid that, but
I feel
a
like
lot of times I do.
like when you're diagnosed later and then you're kind of thrown back out into the world, it's kind of like a baby giraffe trying to stand on its own. It's very much that kind of thing where you just don't know what to do and you're feeling very wobbly. So for me, it was easier to just kind of take a step back and kind of be more secluded. But I know not everyone has that option.
Yeah.
I
What
would
about you,
venture to
Jen?
say, yeah, I would venture to say, and I actually talk about this in one of my videos, that I definitely, excuse me, unmasked a lot more after my diagnosis, but then I struggle with that because I've always kind of been like a pick yourself up by the bootstraps kind of girl. And was it what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? And I do think that there is some truth to that, you know, some truth to like working hard and adversity teaching you lessons and giving you strength. But then there is an obvious, you know, negative side of that, which is um, how crappy you feel about yourself and how wrong you feel trying to navigate the world.
Mm.
And how you feel like you're making those choices personally to be a bad person when everybody else just gets it. So I don't know if how I'm still trying to find the balance myself because I definitely unmasked a lot more, and it was kind of like I said, you know, like is it, you know, beneficial to me, or is it like, you know, I don't want to run on the treadmill anymore because it's uncomfy and I don't like it.
Mm.
I find myself not interacting with people as much anymore. And I find myself secluding myself a lot more. And I almost feel like I don't know how to talk to people anymore. Like, have I given myself too much grace?
Oh.
Um, so you know, because so the answer to the question is yes, I've absolutely unmasked a lot more since my diagnosis. When really, I think the key point of what I mostly needed from my diagnosis was to know that I'm not a bad person. So if I could find some kind of a balance between still trying to interact and talk with people and to be real and legitimate and to be myself around them, but to also understand why I am the way that I am and maybe not be such a yes man. I think that that would be great. I haven't found that balance yet. It's only been a couple of years into my diagnosis. So, Orion.
Yeah. Just quickly to the 155 or so watching. Welcome again, in case you just dropped in. Welcome
I'm
to
so
this live stream.
excited. Hi, everybody.
Great to have you all here. If you're wondering what's going on, so as you can see, you've got 4 people on this live stream. You've got Jen from Neurodivergent, so that's a YouTube channel you should check out. You've got Claire from Woodshed Theory, and you've got Taylor from Mum on the Spectrum. These are 3 incredible content creators with their own channels you should check
What a
out.
big
I know
deal.
we're doing it. I know we're doing it on this channel, but I just want to be clear, everyone, because it is on my channel, that whether you do or don't subscribe or will or won't subscribe to you know, all 4 of us, I'm just happy that you're all here. And because this, I have to be very, I just want to spit this out and we'll move on. Autistic people are very tricky characters, and we're getting 4 channels and putting them together in a chat room. It doesn't mean they're all going to get on or have the same opinions. So I'm here to say I'm more than happy if you'd all share your own personal opinions. If you don't agree with an opinion of someone else, they don't have to leave, or you don't have to tell them no, that's bad, because these are 4 channels joining together on a chat room. It would be ridiculous to think it's all just harmony and kumbaya. It isn't. It won't be. All I'll say is, can we just be nice and respectful? Everyone can have an opinion, and we can all agree that, as a rule, if everyone doesn't like me the most, but if everyone can have an opinion, that's cool. Just respect it. and know that I don't invite people that I don't love and respect. So all these people here have my love and respect, and you're allowed to have a different opinion. But if it goes too far, you can get stuffed. So I'm just putting that out there, and now we can move on to more happier times where I don't talk.
Who said what, Orion?
No,
Who
no one
said
said it.
something in the chat that set you off?
I'm not going there. I'm just.
There's better things to focus on. We've got a beautiful group of people here.
Yeah, Jen, didn't you get like 4,000 questions from your community for our group today?
I did. Are you guys ready for one?
What's the most interesting one? Like,
Yeah, what's one
the
where you were
most
like
random question?
Well, okay. So I ended up with like 12 really good questions. And so this is a little bit nerdy of me, but I actually printed out the usernames of everybody that had submitted a question and picked 2 at random. Okay, you guys, so I just want all of you in my community, if you're here right now, to know that if you submitted a question, I picked them at random. Okay. But I thought it turned out pretty good. So the first one was really short. It says they want to know what special interest that, and this is from Stephanie Olson, 8535. So thank you for submitting your question, Stephanie. Special interests that subscribers don't know about.
I've been pretty open about most of my special interests. Let me think.
I find that I feel that I'm a very boring person. Like when I started a YouTube channel, I was like, I'm pretty interesting. But then I learned that is not the case.
I think you're a very interesting person, Claire.
That is
I think
so
you are
kind.
too.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I
Too
think
much
you're
yarn.
pretty. I mean, I'm like 99% sure you share all this. Like you're really great at repurposing things. You know, it's awesome to see the stuff that you recreate. Like you find things and then you recreate them, and it's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Is this an
I'm trying to
intervention?
think of like something. Yeah, is it an intervention?
I
don't
wasn't
know what.
invited to this part. We really like what you do, Claire, but we're going to get to something in a second. So just
Sometimes sometimes I'll watch an anime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
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 Maybe I know, like I could have a conversation about Studio Ghibli. I could.
I don't know what that
Like
is.
if you
but
wanted to
that's
talk
great.
about like Miyazaki movies and his message, and
Wow.
I could talk about some of that, but yeah, maybe people might not know that about me, but I don't know how much of a like would I consider
cool.
it a special interest. Yeah. What about you, Jen? Do you have like a secret?
Yes.
Okay, what's your secret?
Oh gosh. Okay. Before you share
We're
it,
live.
consider.
It's totally PG, totally safe for YouTube. Mycology, actually. So I actually got my husband got upset with me one time because when we went to the mountains and I saw a bunch of different mushrooms, I took pictures of them, you know, the tops and the bottoms and the stems and everything. And then I came home, and you want to talk about like hyperfocus and monotropism. I literally started, you know, deep diving into this mycology book that I had, to the point where my son was asking for like, you know, can I get a snack or something, and I was just like, you know, like because I was desperately trying to figure out what mushrooms I had identified in the forest. To anybody out there that's interested in mycology, be careful. Don't eat any mushroom that you find. You could die. But, you know, it is something that I've been interested in for quite a while, is like mycology and mushrooms and foraging mushrooms in the wild. So my dream is to see an Amanita muscaria someday, which is the Mario looking mushrooms. And they do have them here in Colorado, so I'm desperately hoping that I will see one someday. But yeah, that's my little special interest, I guess.
That's so cool.
That is cool. Sounds like you know a lot about them.
We don't talk about deadly mushrooms around here at the moment. It's a bit of a touchy subject.
Uh-oh.
In case you ever watch worldwide news. Apart from that, we're moving on.
I do know what you're talking about.
That's all we're going to say
I
then.
do know. Yes.
Yep,
There
yep.
was a news story of a woman
Okay.
who.
Oh,
did
she's
bad
going
things.
there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, don't.
Yep.
Before the courts. Before the
should-
courts.
Okay.
No, before the courts. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh man. Hey, you know, I reckon the one that that provides no help to my content is just my kind of like constant obsession with criminal investigation. Right. I just love it. I just can't get enough of it.
Do you like watching
Yeah.
like the criminal documentaries, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So 100%. But for me, it's like people go, "Oh, you like to watch murdered people, do you?" Oh. That's how they talk. But for me, it's actually the way the investigation goes. I love that. I love the laws around investigation. You know what they can do, what they can't do. You know, watching police cross the line. Oh, that'll get this guy off because how they interviewed him there. You know, different things. The whole investigation process. I love that. Now there are definitely great shows. So I love access to watching interrogations and stuff because learning what you can and can't do and get away with. I really love to see. I mean, they're just such basic, simple tricks. But yeah, I find that fascinating. And that was like the only thing that I would be interested in reading when I was studying just criminal stuff. But yeah, so I find that really fascinating. That's for sure.
And one more time, can you just share with us what people sound like when they talk about that?
Yeah.
Murder.
Oh, what do you just like the murder? Just watching murder? What are you just dead people?
Nice. Thank you. Thank
Very
you for
nice.
sharing that.
I've always
Okay,
loved
I have-
your. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have my one more. If you guys are down for it,
I'm ready.
Taylor, did you give a response to a secret?
I mean, I talk about special interest a lot. I mean, I've talked about this a little bit, but I'm really into baking, and it's one of those things like I don't like to brag. I didn't ask to be good at it, but I can make the best freaking cupcakes. Like I don't know.
I didn't ask to be good at it.
I didn't ask to be good at it. Like I know
It
how that
shows-
sounds.
it shows you.
It's just like I don't like making things pretty. Like, and I used to run a bakery out of my house, but people want pretty things. And I'm like, screw it. Like, it just needs to taste good. Okay. So I don't care what it looks like, but I will make you a cupcake that will make you slap yourself because it's so good. So
Slap yourself.
yeah, that was a pretty intense way to say it. So
you
sorry for that.
actually did that as a business for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Am
did.
I saying too much?
No, I've talked about it in some capacity, but yeah, I ran a bakery out of my house. I've made thousands and thousands of cupcakes. So I love doing it, and I've baked since I was little, but my specialty is like cupcakes and cookies, and I'm really into it. This past weekend, my daughter, she started watching baking shows, and these 10-year-old kids were making eclairs. And I'm like, I've
Whoa.
never made an eclair before. I've
Choux,
never
choux
made
pastry.
Yeah. Yes. Pâte à choux. I was like, I've never made pâte à choux. And so I didn't even know what it was till this weekend. So this weekend we made pâte à choux, we made eclairs, and they were really good. I was really
Did
proud
they
of them.
puff up for you?
They did. And I'm a gluten-free baker because me and my son are gluten-free, and they were freaking good. Is all I have to say. They were amazing.
Well, you said that you've made thousands of cupcakes. Well, I don't mean to brag, but I've eaten thousands of cupcakes.
Well, that's impressive too. Yes.
And you
So-
didn't ask to be good at that, Claire.
You
I
know,
didn't ask to be good at that.
it's
no.
just some people are born that way, you know.
Shows me.
I know. I know.
Autistic Jenny, you might have known her as Jenny Aspie. She's changed to Autistic Jenny in the
Hey,
comments.
Jenny.
She's just written, there's a southern saying, when something tastes so good, it makes you want to slap your mama. Is that
Yeah, that's
real?
where it was coming from. Like,
she making
if
that
you're
up?
not
Is that made
familiar,
up?
no, it's like it's so good it makes you want to sit up and slap yourself. Like I hear it in Texas a lot, and I realized when I said it on the live stream, I'm like, this is probably offensive to some people. I'm sorry for the trigger warning, like whatever. But yeah, it's a weird saying that you hear in the South a lot. Like, so good you want to sit up and slap yourself or slap your mama. It's I know, problematic. Yes.
Okay, this cake's
Yeah.
so good.
Howdy.
This cake's so good. It makes me. It brings on domestic violence. It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. I'll be honest with you.
It is.
Yeah.
Texans are a bit strange, honestly. So I'll own it.
I was checking into Facebook and stuff. Someone asked about. This is a good question from Isabel. She asked about like the consequences of generational undiagnosed or late diagnosed autistic people, the kind of impact that can have on it's a really interesting conversation to have, given that we can, so if we've got 4 autistic people here and presumably 4 late diagnosed autistic people, some have kids that are gone on to become autistic, and some obviously were created by people before them. So it's come from somewhere. So, does anyone want to talk about that? That's a kind of interesting thought from Isabel about this kind of the consequences of generational undiagnosis, or Jen?
Do I raise my hand like I'm in school? So that lets you
Go
know
for
that
it.
I have an answer for your question.
Yeah,
Looks
it's helpful.
disproportionately small to the rest of your body on this shot, but yeah, go.
Okay. I have a question. I have an answer. So my dad was absolutely autistic. He would seclude himself at family functions, and he would get angry at noises and sounds. I remember as a child growing up, he would get angry at me for stirring my ice cream in my bowl. And if I dragged my feet on the pavement, or if somebody behind us in line was like popping bubbles with their bubble gum, he would get very upset. And I just always thought that he was just like a buzzkill, and I remember like sometimes before my autism, I recognized my own autism. I would wear perfume and he would, like get upset about that. And I just always thought that he was a buzzkill. And he's got a good family, but when he secludes himself and he has social difficulties talking to his sister and his brother and other people in my family, they really struggled hanging out with him. So I think that there was obviously his family that didn't understand him, and then there was his children that didn't understand him, right? So the generational misunderstandings, if you will, if I would not have understood what was going on with him now, I would have continued to have thought that he was a jerk and that he was just choosing to be unhappy. Even after I understood what autism was for myself, I would actually talk to him purposefully and like watch his eye contact, and he could not look at me while he was talking, so that gave me a whole lot more understanding. So I kind of feel like there's like a stopgap at this generation, I guess, of understanding my dad, when there were his family probably just thought he was choosing to be antisocial and choosing to seclude himself and choosing to be awkward and weird and irritated at noises and sounds. So I don't know if that answers Isabella's question, but that was definitely my experience. And once I found out, probably about maybe 2 years before he passed away, I had a whole heck of a lot more grace and compassion and understanding for the man. So, yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about this that I will try to condense, but I am very interested in the intersectionality of autism and trauma and also autoimmune disease. And I think there's so much internalized stress with autism. Autoimmune disease is triggered by stress. It's very intrinsically tied with stress, and autism is much less what am I trying to say? Like with women, we're just now understanding how autism presents in women. So more and more women have gone without this diagnosis, considering population wise. And so I think there's so much to say about when women, we pass, think about me, like if I didn't know I was autistic and kind of kept internalizing the stresses, like I'm talking about this in my video tomorrow. Like I've had autoimmune disease since I was in second grade, and I have alopecia and it causes my hair to fall out, and I've dealt with that my whole life. And I think that's one way that my stress was internalized. Like I didn't know how to support myself. I didn't know how to take care of myself because I didn't have the understanding. And so those internalized stresses, that is passed down. Like you think about how we emulate the behaviors of our parents, we emulate the behaviors of people that are close to us, and you see how they live their lives. You see how they carry themselves, how they handle themselves in stressful situations, how they take care of their bodies. And so I think that there is a significant, 80%, there's something to this. 80% of autoimmune disease is found in women. And compare that to what we're seeing in the autistic population. Autism is highly, highly undiagnosed and overlooked in the population of women. And so I think there's a lot of hidden stress here that results in disease and sickness. And I think that there is a lot of hope because we're learning so much more about this. And what we talk about in my community a lot is sometimes just having the words to talk about what you've been through is extremely healing. And so I do have a lot of hope, and I think that it's going to, like, I see a positive future for the progression of us being able to talk about and define autism, especially in women. And so I think we can kind of reverse or kind of circumnavigate these challenges. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about how it's passed on and what kind of legacy that leaves. So this is a really interesting question. Thank you for bringing it up.
You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, Claire, on this one. Do you want to mention anything
I,
on this
I don't
one?
think I have anything to add.
That's cool. Is it just me, or is how long do you reckon the delay is from what us talking and it being on YouTube? I feel like it's so many minutes behind. It's hard to keep up with the comments. I feel like they're a bit out of sync.
There's a lot coming in.
Yeah, there are. There's 180 people are watching at the moment, and there's lots of comments coming in. So I did, and everyone's doing a great job in the comments. So thank you, Whitney and Spicy. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for moderating.
Thank you so much.
And I did catch a couple of comments. Just a sincere apology for the Texan phrase that I used. Sometimes you learn on the fly in a live stream like that was an upsetting phrase. So just sincere apology. It's a Southern thing that I realized when I said out loud. I was like, oh, that could be upsetting. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that was
Darby says Jenny. We're rocking it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
that's awesome.
Darby.
So, and also neurodivergent NRG, so that's Nat. You might remember neurodivergent Nat. She said we carry the trauma of being undiagnosed or unknowingly autistic. I guess that comes down to what we were just talking about. But actually, I've got another question on Facebook. This might be a good one too. From Angela.
And then I have to hop out in just a couple minutes, but I don't want to ruin the party. But
how should teachers approach a situation, or how should people approach a situation where they're quite certain that a student or someone they know could be autistic, but the parents, or loved ones kind of dismiss it? Is it appropriate to suggest it directly to the person, or what should happen? I get this question a lot, actually, from partners and stuff. Like, I think my partner is, how should I tell them? I always find this a really hard question to answer. What do you guys think? My experience, and again, it's like I always give caveats because it depends on the person, it depends on the relationship, it depends on so many things. But I think a good first approach is maybe not that there's anything inherently shameful about using the word autism, but a lot of people have a misunderstanding of that. So can you come at it from a different place, like sensory overwhelm, social anxiety, repetitive behaviors? If you can use any of that language first, and you can kind of gauge if the person is open to hearing more about that, you can kind of gauge where they're at based on using that kind of terminology before you suggest autism. And again, not that there's anything inherently shameful in using that word, but it can be helpful to kind of put a feeler out and see where that other person is coming from, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Claire.
Oh, no, Jen, please go ahead. You first.
Are you sure?
I am so sure.
Okay. Look at us being so polite. I would say, based on personal experience from my daughter working in a preschool, that there are cultural differences in regard to mental health issues. And not that autism is a mental health issue, but that's how they perceive it. But I also have experience on how my son was diagnosed, which was his teacher telling us that she saw signs of autism in him. And she did not downplay it. And she didn't use any like sensory issues terms or anything like that. She just straight out told us autism, and my husband and I were both offended at first because we knew nothing about it. So I think that if you are just direct, people can accept it or reject it. I don't know that, and like kind of like Orion was saying earlier, um, that we are all different minds with different opinions. I think culturally, maybe that slow stepping would help some people. You would have to have a really good intuition to figure out who that would be. But I know that for my son, his teacher just straight out told us, "Have you ever had evaluated for autism?" And that started the whole journey. And we were offended at first, and then we looked into it and understood a lot more about it. And the rest, as they say, is history. So that's my input.
Yeah. But Claire, before you jump in, sorry, I just want to give Taylor an opportunity to say goodbye. And of course, Claire, you can answer your question and go whenever you want. I'm happy to keep going. So Taylor, thank you so much for being here. And we really appreciate your time. And thank you so much for, being nice enough to, hang out with us.
Go
this
check
all
out
together.
our channel.
Thank you, Orion. And yes, Jen and Claire and Orion, I am truly grateful for each of you. And I think I said the other day, it can feel really isolating to be an online content creator. And I feel really, really grateful to have each of you. And you have a special place in my heart. And this has been great. Orion, thank you for figuring all the technical stuff out. I really, really appreciate that. I don't know how my daughter does the heart thing weird now. Like it's so much easier to just do this. Like this is not cool. Okay. This doesn't look
Claire
cool.
made the hearts. Claire
This
made
is
I
the
not
never
hearts.
did that
fetch.
before.
You did.
This
You
is
made
not
it. It
fetch.
worked.
This is fetch. Okay.
I can't
And then
do
to
it.
all the community members, mine and all of ours, just sending lots of love. And I'm sorry I'm leaving early, but keep it going. No more clinky keyboard from me. And I'm out. Bye
All right,
everybody.
so you just click on
Thanks,
leave and then leave
Taylor.
studio. Sorry to be technical. Anyway, okay, that was
And
easy.
then there were 3.
Now, Claire, did you want to talk about? I've forgotten the question. I'm sorry. Oh no, it was about telling someone directly if you think or you suspect, and how that could be a tricky situation.
I mean, I think I've spoken about it on my channel before. It is a tricky situation. I don't think you should call somebody out on it personally. Sometimes if I get to know somebody, I'll forget sometimes, and I'll just make an off the cuff comment, and they'll be like, "Excuse me." Don't do that. I think I think the best thing is to bring it up with somebody if you have a good friendship. I would bring it up privately. I would bring some information with you. Maybe, hey, have you seen some of these videos? They kind of reminded me of you. Is this something you've ever thought about before? Because I know that for me, I had no earthly idea that, which now seems so weird because I mean, check the boxes, right? But I had no earthly idea that I was on the autism spectrum. I thought that this is how everybody. I mean, I knew that not everyone was like me, but I thought that, I mean, this must be how other people experience life. So, yeah, I think it should be done in a trusting way, in a private way. I don't think it's necessarily helpful most of the time. Even if you can or you suspect that somebody is on the spectrum, I don't think it's helpful most of the time to just, hey, just met you, thought you should know, bye. I don't think that's usually helpful. So,
Like a "Call Me Maybe" type song. Look how it looks now. It's like a comic strip now. It's gone from the Brady Bunch to this weird comic strip thing.
oh my gosh, it's Inception. Look.
It's a picture in a picture in a picture.
Whoa.
Anyway, that's cool. So I feel like now we might be able to look more into the comments too. People are saying, are all answers going to be sung now, Claire? Is that something you're going to be doing?
I can't make any, I can't confirm nor deny.
What about the? I was going to ask you about. So here's the thing, right? We're going into winter here in the southern hemisphere. You're going into summer in the northern hemisphere. And tell us what's the deal now? So beanies, yes. New summer headgear. Well, what do you do to prepare for the warm? You want to show us or tell us? Like, are you making something different?
I mean, we don't need to talk about that necessarily. I mean, that's really kind of you to shout I mean, I do Etsy as a way to help support myself, and I normally do like beanie hat drops, as you guys know. Right now, I'm like looking more into like headscarves. We're working on some things like that. So I've been trying to think of things that people would wear in the summer. So it's kind of, I mean, we just launched, we as an as an entity, just launched the Etsy last year. So this is my first time having it during the summer. So we're kind of, we're as an exploring that. So.
Well, I mean, there's 180 people that are watching and hearing about this. So there's some people I've got here who are obviously in Oz, like in Queensland and all the different places. And so Trey said that it's cold here in Queensland. We wear beanies and track pants and jumpers. So they could actually go to your Etsy shop and get some nice warm.
Yeah, lots to choose
beanies
from on the shop right now. And I will let you guys know. I have shipped hats to more than just Orion in Australia, but also, Orion has the largest collection of Woodshed Theory merchandise on the continent. I mean, that's something, right? The continent, the entire continent.
I've got a bright green one.
Yes.
And I've got this one.
Guys. That's so kind of you to shout out my endeavors. Thank you.
Yeah, if all the Aussies going into the, because I can tell you, down here in Victoria, it's absolutely freezing. And I can never get the conversions right, but like really cold, like, I don't know. For us, it's like between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is for you guys. And by the way, that's warm for Jen. I understand that. Because you know, it like snows and all that kind of stuff. There's no snow really in Australia apart from like up on really high mountains. And by high mountains, for Americans, I mean lumps in the ground, hills. Even our mountains aren't high. So it's a very different country. But yeah, it's cold for us. So bloody great time to check out Claire's Etsy and get
Thanks,
a
guys.
nice warm hoodie and stuff.
Yeah, I've been working on, what to do for the summer. So that'll be out soon, hopefully.
Yeah, but the point is, it's not summer everywhere. So you could continue
absolutely.
Right.
That's what I'm saying right now.
That's what Orion's trying to say, is that it's cold over there in the land down under where the kangaroos are. So
Jen, I'd love to hear.
Go.
Oh, I was. Jen had like her second question, and I would love to hear her second question if that's okay with everybody else.
Yeah. Do we take a poll in the chat? I'm just kidding.
No.
Okay, so I actually think that this one is a pretty good one. It's by Grace Brooks, and she says, even clinicians struggle, so this is a little bit deeper, so get your thinking caps on. If even clinicians struggle to discern between level 1 autism and ADHD, how can we ensure the diagnosis is accurate, and does it even matter? Would it be better to just fold them into one group and discuss support needs, or is it super important to know? So I think obviously we're trying to lump level 1 autism and ADHD together. And I do think that those have some very distinct properties. And one of them can be treated with medication and the other one cannot. But I'm open to hearing what you guys have to say about that. I think there's even like, aside from just trying to discern between level 1 autism and ADHD, because I do think that there are quite a few distinctions there. Um, Clinicians do have, depending on their training, struggles differentiating between autism and ADHD because you've got the hyperfocus issue where you have a kid may have inability to be pulled away from something in a hyperfocus, or they are too focused on it, you know. So there are a lot of crossover, a lot of similarities and overlap. But the bigger issue here, I think, that we can kind of discuss is that there are a lot of mental health professionals out there who still don't understand how to diagnose this stuff in general. And that it is especially more difficult with adults.
Hmm.
So if you can't trust the experts, who can you trust, I guess?
Hmm. I think being granular is important when it comes to talking about how to best support people. I think in my mind, that is where it becomes important because maybe someone who has ADHD or autism or both, they all have different support needs. So in my mind, um, even though there are so many similarities, I think somebody just mentioned comorbidities that have a lot of the same outward presentations. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are all equate to the same thing. So in my mind, it is important to distinguish the two. Um, but then on the other hand, it's also important to have more research where they are to kind of pinpoint where do they overlap, like where should we be lumping them in together, and where are the differences. But I do think that there should definitely there's something wrong with being more granular and explaining things more particularly. That's how I feel about it.
I feel like it's back to me now. 170 people watching, and thank you for watching, everyone, and almost 840 total views in less than an hour. So thanks for being here on my channel and watching this amazing live stream. You've got Jen from Neurodivergent, Claire from the Woodshed Theory. Make sure to check out their stuff. You already know that's probably why you're here. And Tay from Mum on the Spectrum was with us in the first hour. Only 7 hours to go before we wind this up. So thank you for being here. A lot of people really like that question, Jen. That's why I regretted not listening to anything that just happened in the last 5 minutes. I apologize. I was watching the comments. I think we were talking about ADHD and autism. A lot of people are saying they're very two distinct things, and other people are saying, you know, they're very similar, and some were saying that one led to the other diagnosis. So I think this is a really fascinating conversation to have. With all, you know, co-occurring conditions, and we always talk about this like in videos and things, how the percentages just say that the chances of this linked with autism seem disproportionately higher for, you know, for autistic people. So it's a really fascinating, it's a really fascinating conversation about co-occurring conditions.
Not only the co-occurring conditions, so it's just like also that there are a lot of mental health professionals who aren't really educated specifically in autism, especially as it presents with, you know, adults, because they're still operating off of the Leo Kanner and Hans Asperger definition of what autism looks like, which was very externally observable traits based. And, I've been looking at the chat, and there's been a lot of people that say that we know ourselves best. And so there is a lot of truth to that, in that, a lot of us research and we discover a lot about ourselves and we feel it very deeply before we go to seek a diagnosis. And we do know ourselves best. So I think 90% of the time when people walk into a clinician's office, they already know which diagnosis to a degree they're probably going to get, because they didn't, take time off of work and seek out a therapist or a mental health professional to seek a diagnosis because, there's nothing going on. However, there are some times where we might be reading things online that are crossover or overlap for other conditions like CPTSD or, some form of childhood trauma or, other types of things that there is a possibility. So we do know ourselves best. However, there could be instances where we are reading information off the internet where there's a lot of crossover, and CPTSD or or ADHD is a lot of crossover there, where we are maybe getting it wrong. And if we have a really good mental health professional, they might be able to steer us in the correct direction. Because I actually asked the professional that diagnosed me, like, how often do people walk into your office and think they have autism and walk out with another diagnosis? Because I was really trying to validate my own diagnosis. And she said, probably there might be about 10% of people who walk in my office thinking that they have one thing and walk out with another. So I guess that's a long way of saying that, yes, we do know ourselves best, but that there are a lot of crossover with a lot of these conditions. But then again, you go to the professionals and you expect them to know what they're talking about. And a lot of times they don't. And it is why we have so many horror stories out there of people going in to talk to a professional, and the professional tells them, well, you can't be autistic because you were able to look at me. You can talk, you can complete sentences, you went to university, you went to uni. Nope, you can't be autistic. So that's a struggle. And so I would say that if you are going to try to seek out a diagnosis, you try to find somebody who really is an expert in autism or ADHD. So that was a lot of this to say, I don't know what, like experts can get it wrong, but we can too sometimes.
Yeah, that's an experience that I think many people late diagnosed relate to. I mean, I think people in the chat, when I talk to you guys, when I have conversations, we all seem to have very similar experiences or stories. I mean, obviously my story really coming from seeing a psychologist for struggling with what seemed like overwhelming anxiety. And one of the first things the psychologist, said in the conversation was, have you ever considered, autism? And of course, that was offensive. It's like, I've come here to get help with anxiety, mate. Can you just shut up and get onto the help me with anxiety? And then you see, a doctor and a referral and a psychiatrist. And, this is the issue too. It's not finding someone who's not only qualified legally, so they're a doctor, but actually has the educational, knowledge, up-to-date knowledge. It's almost not possible, unrealistic. So it's very hard. I mean, the first psychiatrist I got specialized more in kids. So really had no idea about autism in adults. And you can imagine everything you just said, Jen, is the kind of things I heard. But then when I finally worked out, okay, you've really got to find psychiatrists who actually have some sort of, educational interest in adult assessment. And that's hard to find. And then when you do that, they're like, I can't believe this other person, missed this or said this. It seems so much more obvious to them. But again, I think not only is it really hard to find people that know what they're talking about, but also it's really hard too if you have your mindset on something. Like if I'm focused on anxiety and someone brings up autism, or you're focused on ADHD, and someone brings up autism or vice versa, that's very hard to get your head around. And then the challenge is, and this is a big challenge for me as a parent too, is how many more things do we want to lump on this kid, right? How many more diagnoses, labels, whatever you want to call it, does the kid need, right? Like, as in, is it helpful? What point do you reach the point where it's no longer helpful? Like, so they've got this and that, autism, ADHD, and anxiety, and OCD, and depression, or and I don't know the answer. I think if you can get acknowledgement to things that you experience, and there's ways to navigate through that, right, to make it to help you, that's great. But for me, that's the thing I'm navigating right now. At what point do you stop, right? It's like it's really tricky.
Yeah, somebody says anxiety to autism, huge leap. And that's actually not true, because when you're living with autism, like, anxiety on its own is its own separate diagnosis. But there is like a lot of anxiety, like I think 80% of people who have autism also have anxiety from trying to interact with the world. And that doesn't mean that anxiety is an indication for autism, like it's not a diagnosable criteria, but it is a result of having autism, because we have so much anxiety about interacting with the world every single day.
I was just thinking about what Orion said about when do you, like, when is it too much to like stack onto somebody? And it was kind of making me think about how we have these, unfortunately, have these negative feelings towards some of these diagnoses. I think that's when it becomes, I think that's when there starts to be a question of like, well, how many more? Like, what's too much? When will it be? I think maybe what needs to happen is starting to shift getting these diagnoses into something that's way more positive and a good thing. And then we can kind of move away from this idea of that it's going to hold people back. I think from having too many diagnoses might hold someone back. When, for me, what my diagnoses have given me is a lot of freedom and understanding. But I understand what you're saying, like, because we have this conversation a lot, right? How you don't know how your life would have been different if you had known all of this when you were a kid, right? Yeah. And we'll never know that. I just hope, my hope is that as we have more awareness and understanding, and as our community steps out into its own light more strongly each year, as the research grows stronger, that it will turn it'll turn away from being, I'm not saying that, it's always beautiful and happy and whatever, that there's no negatives, but I hope that it would be less of a negative.
Yeah, co-occurring conditions can lump on more negativity. That's the issue too. I mean, depending on what they are,
right?
And certainly for kids, yeah. Adults obviously, but yeah, when you're kind of raising a kid, and it's like,
That's tough.
if we start to label on more, how will that impact that person that comes down to? So I always think, what will this achieve with regards to helping them, right? Like, is it just a label, or is it something that will open up access to services and help? And the thing is, I get this question a lot about, diagnosis as a kid or an adult. I think the fact of the matter is it wouldn't have made no difference, because when I was a kid back in the early 1940s, there would not have been any good quality services. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? What did I miss out on? Nothing, right? I missed out on nothing because I wasn't what they were looking for, and there wasn't services to help those types of people. Yeah. Potentially, I mean, unless I think the diagnosis would have been like in infantile schizophrenia. So what would have that given me, right? So this is the issue. People always look back and go, my life could have been so much better, but it's like, no, probably not. I mean, like the services are pretty crap now, and I go through them with my kids. Sorry. So that always I find that really strange. But then I also can feel this frustration of people in the chats, in the comments. It can cost them hundreds of dollars, $700, $800, $900 per session for someone who's classed themselves as an expert, and then they find out to be very bad at what they do. That's a massive amount of money to throw away. Misdiagnosis, undiagnosis. And I think it's fair enough to say that you're going to run into even more barriers as a woman, not necessarily probably girls as much as it used to be, but girls are still significantly much harder than it would be for boys. But this is the issue, clearly, access to services and expertise. And then, like we've talked about, it's helpful to know that I have clinical anxiety, like I have diagnosis of clinical anxiety, if that is something that I can get help with. But I'm not necessarily sold on if the medication I take is doing that much. Like, I'm still pretty rattled most days. So it's more of something I can use as okay, I understand like you said, Claire, I understand myself better. This is why I'm experiencing this. What can I do to help myself? And I think the challenge is, for most people that I talk to, is, but the people don't care. Like your family and your friends or the community, they don't give a shit if you've come, yesterday, nothing, today you've got these labels now. Like, whatever, man. What do you want me to do? Change? Like, it's a...
Especially when they've known you your whole life, and it can be hard for them to believe a diagnosis when you've been masking your whole life.
I will say, though, that I want to shout out, because I know there's probably family members in the chat too who think, well, that's not how I was. I was really accepting, and we made some changes. I know a lot of parents out there. So just shout out to all of those people who heard about a diagnosis and said, what can I do? Thank you for that.
100%.
I think like this, it would be a great opportunity to like read some of the chats going on. We've been doing a really good job of like hanging out and answering some of the pre-submitted questions and having a lot of dialogue. And I think that this is a good opportunity to kind of like read what some of the people are saying.
Yeah, 100%. There's some great comments too. I got a comment. Someone actually asked, I think it's Franimus. I'm so bad with these things. Talking about an autistic friend who's headed into uni and coming to grips with uni and being autistic, and advice in that respect, or even I guess that's the same with advice to any kind of level of education, whether you're doing it with a child or yourself. I mean, yeah, that's a big question. Get that a lot. I think from my point of view, one of the core issues for autistic people, certainly in higher education, is if you are able to access any kind of supports, they tend to focus on the assessment part, which I find kind of unsatisfactory, only on the premise that giving me an extra 10 minutes in my exam because I'm autistic won't help me if you've provided no supports for me to learn the content I'm being assessed on. That's all I would say about that in a nutshell.
I would say do not be afraid if there are services available, don't be afraid to access them. Like, I wish that I had been able to access more time or taking exams alone. I wish that I had been able to take more advantage of that. And I wasn't diagnosed, so I wasn't able to. Um, I think being able to go into university knowing that knowing your diagnosis or knowing that you're on the autism spectrum is a good thing, because it will change how you work and how you need to be communicated with. And I think sometimes in college, depending on where you go, it could be more hands off. And that's not always the best for somebody who's neurodivergent. They might need more structure. So being able to work with that information and work with services to get the structure that you might need, I would really encourage anyone to do that if it's available.
I just stop for a second, guys. It's 11 a.m. my time, which means we've been going for 90 minutes. And I just want to quickly check in and make sure, Jen and Claire, because I know it's late where you are, how you're going, how you're feeling, and just get a quick check on you guys.
Great.
Yeah, I need to take a break if you guys want to talk amongst yourself, but I'm good to keep going for a minute, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I think actually I'm probably, I hate to be the person who says I'll probably have to step out, only because, as we talked about, I have about an hour limit on live streams, and I feel comfortable. I don't feel like we've gone too far, and I feel like I could stay on the live stream all night, but I know what that's gonna be like for me later. So probably step out in a moment, if that's all right.
100%. 100%. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Okay, cool, great. So I can keep talking to people in the stream anyway for a bit longer. And obviously, if Jen wants to go and take a break and come back, she can go and take a break and come back.
Bye,
Just
Jen.
don't take the audio with you, or that would be really creepy. So, hey, Claire, thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I really appreciate it. I know it's a whole different time of the day for you, so it's always awesome to chat and catch up.
It's still light out here, so it's not that bad. But yeah, I'm happy that we did this. I think hopefully it's maybe the first of many. Maybe we could have some other creators on. If people have requests, that'd be really cool. Being able to come together as a community, several separate communities into one, with the same goal of understanding each other better and promoting community, I think is a nothing but a positive thing. So I'm happy that we put this together. I'm happy that Taylor, who has left, decided to bring it up. And this community, the creators in this community are good people. And thanks everyone for hanging out with us. Check out my podcast. I just put out a new episode today.
And just so people know, what's the name of your podcast?
The name of my podcast is Autistic People Talking. And I have on other autistic people. We have a conversation about our lives, and kind of just let it develop organically. And it seems like a lot of people like it. So we've had 9 episodes now, and here's Jen.
Well, and that's great. And you know what? So check out Woodshed Theory, the YouTube channel for all that. And also,
but I'm not the only person with a podcast. Orion also has a podcast, so check out his podcast too if you haven't already.
Thank you, Claire. That's very nice of you. I'm just stoked this worked first time. We finally got there. People could see us and hear us, so we know it works. We know we can do it again, so that's bloody amazing. So I'm so happy about that. Anyway, there's so many people in the chat saying goodbye to you and thank you, Claire. Just so you know, everyone in the chat's saying goodbye and thank you and all that kind of stuff. So,
bye, everyone. I'll see you next Monday for Porch Coffee. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Orion. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, chat. Bye. Have a good evening.
Okay.
I'm good for the next 6 hours. Let's go.
God help me. Okay. So let's just assume now we are now we're a 2-piece. So God only knows what's going to happen now. What's happening now, Jen? Help me here.
Okay.
You got 154
Jen is
people
back.
watching, so do
Yay,
something.
we better shush
something.
now. Goth says that we better shush. They better shush now because they were talking crap about me while I was gone, apparently. So
Absolutely not true. I was just saying, please don't take the audio with you. That's all.
we're
That's
good.
all. Orion, where's your wig? Where's my wig? Isabella, my wig. What's my wig mean? I don't know what that means. Anyway, I'm just trying to read the comments now.
Isabella said they told us they admire you, Jen. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, you're going to go and check out all the comments now. My artificial hair? What do you mean artificial hair? This is my real hair. My wig? I don't understand what this means. This is like I'm missing this joke or something, I think. Nice shirt. Thanks, Trace. Oh, my God. Just blew my nose on camera. So this has been... okay. I've got it all good now. We're good to go. It's working. 2 shots working. Here we go.
Yes.
Cool. We're working. We're on. Okay. Oh, I've never seen it on such a old faulty product before.
Shut your mouth.
It looks horrific. Looks quite horrific. I didn't know they made those in the early 80s. But anyway.
At least I wasn't born in the 1940s. Let
That's
it be
true.
known that
I was
did
born before
not.
that.
It's kind of funny because I feel like that kind of like just glossed over a lot of people, and I'm sitting there like, did you just say 1940s?
This is Taylor. Thank you for sending me a polo. I'm actually still going. We're actually still going. We're still streaming. Claire's gone. It's just me and Jen. Can you hold the polos until I've finished the stream? Thank you. All right.
She sent me one before she sent you one. I just want you to know. So
no, that was the group one. She sent you a
did
direct
she
one.
send one in group? I got a direct one.
I'll get stuff. That's a load of rubbish. Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm nicer to her.
Okay, whatever. What did she say? How did you watch it if we're on the stream? Have you
I
watched
didn't
it?
watch it.
Oh,
I just
okay.
got a notification. Maybe
right.
she told me to get stuffed.
That sounds highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, Jen.
That is very highly unlikely. So making fun and sarcasm is my love language, but that is not for everybody on the spectrum, but that is because I also have the ADHD. So I'm all about it. I'm all about the teasing. I'm all about the silliness. But I definitely know that that's not everybody. But anyways, Orion gives me a hard time about my equipment because the very first time, I know that sounded bad. The very first time we did a interview, I did it off of a 20-year-old laptop that had no sound quality whatsoever. And so for this one, I was asking like, well, can we hop on from our phones? And he was like, yeah. Everybody was like, oh, Jen's going to be an 8-bit. And I was like, look, you guys, just because I have a flip phone to attend this live stream in doesn't mean that I won't be there. I'll be there, okay? A for effort.
It's funny. I don't know if it actually is more specific to autistic people, but because it's Claire's very similar, and you and I also think, and it's very much my personality. If I'm making fun of you, giving you crap, whatever you wanted to call it, teasing, whatever, making jokes, that's a sign that I actually like you enough to waste my time on you. Like, as in, if I'm not giving you crap, if you're not getting teased by me, or I'm not giving you crap, that's a good sign that I'm not so much there. So maybe it is more of a unique thing. No, maybe it isn't as unique as I thought. Maybe it is a kind of a neurodivergent thing, but and maybe it isn't. But I definitely do that a lot. I mean, I just assume that Jen, when you understand, I'm joking, but I just assume a lot. Well, I do constantly tease and make fun, but I think that is very natural to us. So maybe it is more of a different brain kind of thing. I'm not sure.
But another thing I'll say is that
yes.
I know that Claire and Tay get very drained with the live streams. And for me, this is kind of the only interaction I get, to be honest with you. And it actually kind of gives me energy and energizes me. So I appreciate everybody that's been here and chatting and giving their input. It's pretty awesome.
Well, then prove it and do something.
Well, I came with my hat on, like I was gonna do the impression, but I don't.
Oh,
think
you came back as me. I didn't even see it. You came back as me.
I did.
That's awesome.
But
you came.
Yeah.
2 Orions in one.
More Inception. Anyways, I do think that this was a great stream, and we have proved now that we can do several people, and so maybe we should kind of wrap it up. I really appreciate Tay giving the suggestion, and I do think that we've covered a lot of awesome things here. Now people are asking questions. Do you like dark humor or crude humor? I feel like I'm just like a sarcastic humor type of person. I don't know about you, Ryan. I'm not a huge fan of too dark humor. I'm a little bit of a sissy.
Then I like dark humor very much. Would be my answer.
It's just the opposite of whatever I pick. Is that what's going on here?
I like sarcasm and dry wit, but I think I like dark humor on the premise that I like to make, jokes that people go too soon or whatever. I think that's because it's I don't believe it's ever too soon. If one thing is the perfect timing, it's making people laugh. So yeah, I maybe we all think about it in a different way. What is dark humor? But I think I like that kind. I think I am relatively dark, sarcastic. But yeah, there is lots of people coming through, but it is a good opportunity to give people warning that we definitely will wrap this up. So this is warning to that letting you know, so it doesn't just abruptly happen. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us and sitting through the early portion of getting this together and the wrong link and all that crap. But it was great to have so many people here watching it and talking in the chat. It's been a massive success, I reckon, Jen.
Yes, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I don't want to get too cheesy, but seriously, I know that when we have these panels, and we all talk to each other and we don't get to everybody's comments, but I personally, I know Orion's going to say he will never go back and watch the live stream, but I personally go back and watch what everybody has said. So whether we read your comment out loud or not, I usually go back and read everything, and I am just so grateful and appreciative that all you guys were here, and I hope that you get something out of it. And again, I'm being super cheesy here, but I hope that you guys all feel less alone and more seen, because I know that that's part of the reason why Orion and I are doing this. We're obviously trying to raise the level of appreciation and awareness. But, honestly, I just want you guys to feel less alone and more seen. And I just think you guys are the bee's knees. I love and appreciate all of you. So that's my thing.
Didn't work. Hopefully I didn't check the live chat replay box then. That'll work out much better for me. Hopefully I didn't check it. I don't know if I did. I'm sorry. Don't get huffy puffy. How would I know? I couldn't even get the link right. You think I can check the right box? I can't even say the word check. I'm saying check the right box. I can't get the link right. I'm going to check the right box and start getting really agitated and really fiery here, people. So just whatever you do, don't give me any don't give me any crap, okay? Because there's a guy called James with a Y. He made a set of bingo cards that have things that I do in live streams that he could tick off as I go. And I don't think I've got any ticked off today, so you're very lucky. Anyway,
yes, you did. I can't keep up with the live stream. That was number one thing you did.
Oh, okay. I don't think I said that today, though, did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Well, no one got me to rant about things. So, and Taylor even mentioned cupcakes. So that didn't set off a rant on cakes. So everyone's very lucky. Because, of course, we all know that this is just bloody disgusting. Cupcakes, cakes, whatever they are, just piss off.
I almost said something about it, but I was like, nope. Keep it quiet.
Nah, I'm not interested. Just piss it off and get me something that actually is tasty. Like, seriously. Anyway. Here we go. People are going to start ranting about how they make great cakes. Yeah, you know what? Go slap your mama. That's what I would say to you. I don't even know what that means, by the way, but just do it. You got a good cake? Slap your mama. I don't want to hear about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, just up you go, off your trot. Seriously, you got a good cake? Great.
Put your manners back in.
Hey, I was told slap. That's a good thing to do. Anyway, it's honestly just slap your mama, mate. Tell her it's good. Imagine it. Imagine if I did that in Australia, I'd go to jail. Like, oh, you know what? This dinner was bloody delicious, Mum. Crack! Like, seriously, what in the world? Where are we living? How was dinner, boys? Bloody great. So, I just said it was good. You down there? You coming up? She's asleep. She'll be back. She's gone into concussion protocol for the next 2 weeks. She can't play. All right. Good.
Yes. Okay. So everybody prepare to say goodbyes. And please, we don't promote violence on this channel. Please do not slap your respective mamas.
Unless,
okay?
Of course, it's metaphor. All right. Good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Love you guys very much.
I loathe you and tolerate you.
Say goodbye, Orion.
All right. I'm going. All right. I'm clicking the end stream button. You'll probably still be in Riverside at the end here, but I'm just going to click the end stream button. Hey guys, I'm letting you all say goodbye. So quickly put it in the chat to say goodbye. Thank you so much for everyone being here. This has been amazing. And we're going. So I'm ending the stream. So this is it. Last chance. Will there be a live chat replay? I don't know. Bye, everyone. Catch you later.
Bye.